Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, today we're looking at a couple of Mothman, or at least possible Mothman accounts, because I have a couple of stories delving deeply into the Mothman phenomena. The first article we will be reading is Monetary Birdman, Urban Legend, or Real Winged Humanoid. This article included a photo of this monetary birdman, folks, and I have to say, to me, it looks like a Mothman, but we can decide that, well, as we are reading this article. Either way, let's get into it now. Stories claim it has been seen on the slopes of Cerro de la Sila, and some even say it walks across the roofs of houses at night with its sharp claws. In the late 1980s, a winged man became very popular, according to reports. He was sighted by various people in the northeast of the country, specifically in our state. The Birdman, as this unique creature was baptized, is one of the most popular urban legends in Monterey. The first sightings of this mysterious bird began in the late 1980s in the La Huastuca area south of Nuevo Leon, although others claim it has been seen on Cerro de la Sila, where it supposedly lives. At first, these stories weren't given much importance, but as time passed, reports from people claiming to have seen him multiplied. All witnesses agreed on the description of the Birdman, a humanoid approximately 5 meters long, with outstretched wings, black in color, and with glowing eyes. I have to say, folks, the monetary birdman really does sound like Mothman in me, especially the way that it has glowing red eyes, much like in the Mothman accounts that we've heard about before. And the fact that it's been described as a birdman, which, well, has been one of the descriptions of Mothman in the past, folks. Remember the Chicago Mothman sightings, where they said it looked bird-like but had bat-like wings and glowing red eyes like this? This report and other stories make me think the Mothman phenomena is worldwide. Either way, let's finish off this particular article now. Over the years, and with the popularity of the legend, some have suggested that it could be an ancient animal species that never became extinct and that lives among the caves of the hills. Others say it's a vampire, while others claim it's an alien. There is also another version of what people have claimed to have seen wearing a red robe and carrying a pentagram as if it were a demon. So, people have said before that these cryptids might be demons, folks. Could this basically be proof of that fact? I have my doubts, but I wouldn't basically be surprised if a demon could masquerade as these kinds of cryptids and even alien beings, folks. So, what do you make of it? Do you think that this truly was a report of a Mothman? Or would you say that the monetary bird is a cryptid unique to itself? Because if it's not a Mothman, then what is it? Is it possibly related to the British Owlman? We don't know. I have to say, folks, all these flying cryptids, from the monetary birdman to the Mothman to literally the Owlman, they all have similar characteristics, and I have to say, I think they might be, well, the same species. Here we have the photo of the monetary birdman, folks, and as you can see, it's flying in the air, and, well, it seems to be, I think, flapping its wings, almost like a hummingbird, but I can't be for sure, folks. But it does look like the wings are blurry a bit. But I can't be for sure. Maybe it is hanging from some sort of rope or something that basically is allowing it to basically look like it's flying. But I have to say, folks, it looks like a particularly good forgery if it is one. But I don't think it is. I think that this could really be a real, well, cryptid sighting and photo here. Either way, here's a close-up of the photo. And as you can see, folks, it looks pretty real to me, and I don't see any rope or any kind of strings holding this creature up. Now, it could be that maybe this is a hoax, but I don't really, well, think so, because it looks very real to me, folks. It doesn't look like CGI. I mean, it looks blurry, but I think you would basically expect that, especially with a flying cryptid. I mean, we're not talking about Bigfoot here, who is basically just standing out in the woods. No, we're talking about a flying cryptid, and if it does exist, was literally flying over this mountain. So, do you think it was real? Maybe. But let's finish off this article now and hear a little more of the story of the monetary birdman. Although initially there was also a version that it could be the chupacabra, but this was ruled out because the winged being never attacked any animal and was seen long before. Today it continues to cause terror, as it is said to have been seen prowling around houses at night. Some say it lands on the roofs of homes, making a terrible sound of footsteps as if it were something very large, leaving claw marks wherever it goes. A couple of years ago, a photo posted by a Facebook user went viral, astonishing many people because in the background appeared a strange winged creature, which many immediately related to the Birdman. Although there is no conclusive evidence of its existence, the legend continues to circulate among the people of Monterey for generations. Source: Toledo MX. Note, this is also the vicinity of the Flying Witch flap that took place over a dozen years ago lawn. So, that's also very interesting, folks. Do you think that maybe the Flying Witch phenomena from, all those years ago has some sort of relevance to this, monetary Birdman, as well as maybe other flying cryptids like Mothman, perhaps, folks? Maybe, in fact, all of these creatures are some sort of shape-shifting witches, much like skinwalkers. Maybe that's the truth of the phenomena. Then again, most skeptics will argue that this is all just, literally bunk, and it's all just, tall tales and hoaxes. I don't believe that, folks. I think there is definitely something out there. Either way, let's read this next article. Mothman, 5-foot-tall, bipedal, red-eyed, flat-faced creature reported in northeast Tennessee. And hear exactly what these witnesses saw as well, folks, and how they dealt with it. Because it sounds like, basically, this might be another Mothman account where this creature has big red eyes like a Mothman, but doesn't seem to have wings. But then again, maybe I'm just putting you on, folks, but I'm just saying there's a good possibility maybe this is some sort of creature very similar to Mothman with the glowing red eyes and is non-flying. But then again, let's find out as we get into the article. It was suggested to me that it may have been a Mothman, but I didn't see wings. But it was dark and the wings could have been concealed from my view. What did I see? It was 5 feet tall, bipedal, red-eyed, flat-faced creature in an abandoned town in northeast Tennessee. It was covered in brownish, black, matted fur or hair, and the legs were hidden by the ditch it was standing in, so we didn't get a clear look at them. It was, however, using its upper limbs as though they were hands attached instead of paws. When we spotted the creature, it was scrambling around on the embankment. It was facing like it was searching for something. It wasn't digging. The movements were more similar to, say, a person who lost a piece of jewelry in the grass and is looking for it. Now, everyone, maybe this alien creature really was searching for something. I say alien here because it sounds more alien than Mothman-like, folks. It sounds like a tall gray alien, but then again, the red glowing eyes, much like in the Mothman accounts, is a telling detail that maybe these creatures are somehow related to each other. Either way, this creature was looking for something on the ground. Maybe it was looking for soil samples, because we've talked about before about various alien encounters where the witnesses see a UFO come down and these beings come out of it and start collecting samples off of the ground, sometimes even taking animal, samples as well, and even basically, taking samples from people that they meet at the sightings. Either way, let's finish off this article now, folks, and then maybe we can contemplate and the truthfulness of these encounters and wonder if they have any relationship to each other and the Mothman phenomena in general. Either way, let's finish off this article now. There was no mouth or nose visible, even using our bright lights, and it didn't move a muscle. As our car slowed down to look at it, it didn't seem frightening in the least. Also, as goofy and cliche as it sounds, the eyes were not red from eye shine, but rather like they were glowing, from within, on their own. Even still, if we're going with eye shine, the only animal in this area whose eyes shine red is a night heron. Without a doubt, we didn't see a bird. It was suggested to me that it may have been a Mothman, but I didn't see wings, but it was dark and the wings could have been concealed from my view. I will note that something with a similar description was seen in these parts before, but that was back in the 1920s, according to people I have talked to. So, was it a Mothman, folks? We simply don't know. Like in the last account, this creature could have been one. But in both stories, folks, no one is for sure at all. I mean, what could this thing have actually been? I mean, they might have been some sort of alien beings, folks, because that's something people have constantly theorized on for decades now. But apparently, this was not the first sighting of this particular cryptid, because remember, in the article he says back in the 1920s, people were seeing something very similar to this cryptid. And I have to wonder, folks, maybe Mothman has been around far longer than we've, ever really basically thought. Because remember the last article, people have been seeing this flying cryptid, for decades as well. So, as I said, folks, maybe like the alien question, maybe people basically have been seeing these entities for hundreds of years, but they've never really given them a name before and just called them other things like basically demons or spirits, for lack of more information on what these entities actually are. Anyway, folks, we're at the end of this video, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics, they're bad for you. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to go subscribe to me. And remember, I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so make sure to come back again then. I'm your ever-loving host, Chris Williams, a purveyor of strange and weird phenomena and comic books, folks. So remember, until next time, I'll see you all again soon.